Hey, we've got Kevin Nealon back on the show today. He'll be at the Landmark Comedy Works, 720-274-6800. You know him from SNL, Weeds, Happy Gilmore, The Wedding Singer, Age Management, so on and so on and so on.
Blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
yeah. Here he is.
Yeah.
It's cool, man, to see you doing, because, you know, when I grew up watching you on SNL,
Yeah.
and, you know, I just thought that, you know, you just sort of appeared. I didn't know that you had this life
That's
prior
right.
to SNL, you know, when you were a kid. It's just like, where do they find these people? It's like some sort of comedy ranch.
It's interesting when you're starting out, you know, you want to get on TV as a comic, but a lot of times you're not ready, you know, for certain shows. But there's some shows that'll take you.
To get that practice, right?
Or just because they can't get anybody else, you know. And but you know, a lot of comics did Merv Griffin. A lot of them did Mike Douglas. And the first show I was ever on was the Norm Crosby's Comedy Hour. And they had different comics on, you know. And
Right.
Norm was the host. And my material was not that strong at the time.
Did he tell you about it afterwards, or was it
No.
upon review?
He never mentioned it.
Invited
But,
you
in
back?
hindsight. No.
No. Thanks for coming, kid. Good
Yeah.
luck.
I think the show went off.
Now, how long ago was the special that you recorded?
I recorded it
but
in
not
February.
overly.
I
In
recorded it right here at the Comedy Works, February 2012, and it's on Showtime and Netflix now, and it's also available on DVD and CD in the same
So
package.
You banked. So, I mean, you self-produced this, right?
No,
And then
no,
you sold
no.
it to Showtime?
I had a producer. do
Okay.
it. I don't want to get involved in that. You know, then you got. But you know what? The next time I think I will, because you see that a lot of these guys that are, you know, like Louis C.K. They just put it on their website, sell it for $5 or whatever,
Right.
and they make a ton of money. But you got to have a pretty big following.
You got a big following, man. Yeah,
Not
I mean,
a bad following. Yeah,
No,
not a bad
it's
following.
coming around. I mean, it's like I don't think people realized until you started doing stand-up again that's what you did, except for, you know,
Yeah.
all your old school buddies.
Well, I
and
never
people
stopped.
who surf the web and see you on Merv Griffin.
I never stopped doing stand-up. You know, I continued doing it even when I was on SNL and Weeds. Never stopped doing it, but I never had specials. You know, I never did a special until about 4 or 5 years ago. I did my first one, and that's after over 30 years of doing stand-up. So I think
Wow.
that kind of makes me a little more accessible to people now, and also YouTube. You know, so. Yeah, so I like doing the stand-up, but man, it's a grind, you know. When in my 30s, I said I don't want to be in my 40s working on the road, staying at some Holiday Inn, you know. And then in my 50s, I said I don't want to be in my 60s, you know, when I'm doing stand-up. I don't want to be like in a Radisson.
You've
Way to
upgraded.
go. Yeah, I'm upgrading. Actually, I'm downgrading.
Holiday Inn or
I
Radisson.
don't want to be in a Motel 6.
Oh, no. Or one of those hotels, you know, a week or a lifetime.
Yeah. I want to be in a Sandals resort.
That's where you want to be. What
Yeah.
did you ever do cruise ships and stuff like that?
I did
when you were coming
two.
up?
I did 2 cruise ships. I did one from Jamaica to Fort Lauderdale, and they put me in the adult room, you know, for more of the,
Okay, yeah.
you know, the bluer acts.
Yes.
My act wasn't blue though, and they were dancing. They were having a good time, and then they introduced me. Everybody had to stop dancing, and they were drunk, and
That's not fair to
I
you,
go out
man.
on the dance floor with my microphone, and just as I'm starting to pull the anchor up, I could hear it clank, 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 clank. It was a long ride to Fort Lauderdale, I can tell you that.
Oh.
The other one I did was really interesting. It was a corporate gig. You know, these corporations hire you.
Really?
They had a couple of speakers. One was a Nobel Peace Prize, like a physicist. And I remember this to this day. I sat down with him like during the lunchtime, and I said, because I know these guys are smart. I said, do you think we've ever been visited by aliens? I was trying to think of the most
Right.
absurd question. He goes, no, and I'll tell you why. And he went on to tell me that every civilization burns itself out. I don't know where he was getting his reference from, but after 100,000 years. And that's not enough time to develop intergalactic space travel. So that was his reasoning.
And you're like, you're not so smart.
Yeah. No, what's that? They just flew by.
Yeah, dummy.
Yeah, but the cruise ships are, you know, for some comics they like it. It's a good living. But for me, I just wasn't too keen on that.
What's your favorite thing to do? I mean, obviously you like doing stand-up.
I like the clubs. I just don't like traveling to get there, you know what I mean? I like corporate gigs because they pay well and you don't have to do a lot of press for it, and you're in and out. And I did a corporate gig about 8 months ago, and Al Pacino was one of the speakers. It was his first one. And they had a moderator on stage with him. He was asking questions back and forth. And I raised the question in the back of the room when they took the questions from the audience. And I raised my hand. He couldn't see me because of all the lights. He knows me a little bit because I was in this film with him briefly. I got cut out. It was a Sandler film.
You guys are buddies.
Yeah, it was a Jack and Jill movie. But I raised my hand and I said, Al, I did a film with you. By my voice, can you tell which film it was? He goes, was it Cruisin'? Everybody laughed. I said, no. I said it was Jack and Jill, but I got cut out. He goes, well, they should have cut a lot more out of there, too.
Great.
Yeah. So corporate gigs I like, the clubs, theaters are great. I like stand-up. I really do.
You got any TV or I know that you've got a couple movies that are in post right now.
A couple movies coming out. Yeah. I just did another Sandler film with Drew Barrymore. I think it's about my 12th film with him in South Africa. You ever been to South Africa?
No.
It's crazy. I mean, safaris. We went on safaris. Must have done about 5 safaris.
Does he plan that? It's like, hey, you know what? I want to go to South Africa. Let's shoot a movie there.
Well, no, this film that was written took place in South Africa.
Okay.
Ultimately, it started somewhere else first, but then they ended up in South Africa. So we go there, and yeah, you could book these safaris, and it's just amazing. You see the lions right next to your truck that you're in, and you got to all sit down in the truck. It's an open top truck, and you all got to sit down. It's like cascading benches, like 3 or 4 rows.
Okay.
And the safari guide says, okay, nobody stand up, because then the animals will see that you're an individual, and you'll be attacked.
Right now they think that this is a large animal.
It's just a big, harmless large animal or something that's kind of wandering through that they don't want to eat.
Go get happy this weekend. Kevin Nealon's at the Landmark, 720-274-6800. Very clever and cool website. Go check him out. What was this? KevinNealon.com.
That's it.
And then you tweet.
Twitter at Kevin_Nealon.
And then go spend some of your hard-earned money this weekend. You won't regret it. 720-274-6800. Thanks, Kevin.
That's going to be great, man. It's going to be so funny.
All the time funny. He's funny.
Non-stop funny.